What's going on, you guys? This is Jose Ortiz back at it again. Um, as you know, on this channel we discuss design, and we look at it through the lens of poster design. Just because we're trying to give this thing a box, this really large subject a box that we can understand it within, and then we can begin to break outside the box. In my previous videos, you would hear me mention, "Oh, go check out my earlier video on how to set up the baseline grid for all your poster designs," and it's something that I do fairly quickly throughout a bunch of these newer videos, and I realized that I never uploaded that first video. So for this episode, I'm actually just going to be streaming the live recording that I made and never uploaded, primarily just because I think it's a good foundation for you guys to get a feel for how I actually made these grids, and it has a little bit more of an explanation about it. So without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and get that video up so that we can take a look at it. All right. Here we have it. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera for now and my mic. And I'm hoping that you guys can hear it. Let's play it first. I hear it, but I don't know how you guys are hearing it. Let me change my audio. Just make it a little weird, guys. Design Center. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started. I'm gonna play some music that I believe is streamer friendly by the Relaxed Movement. It's cool, you guys should check it out. Great stuff. I've been listening to it. So hopefully y'all are hearing have this. Something in the background. Do you guys hear this? What I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna be using Adobe InDesign to set up my poster. Start a new document. And we're just gonna make it, 8.5 by 11. Hit preview. 8.5 by 11 is also known as letter size. This is where you would adjust any of the margins, things like that. We're not gonna be doing any of that right now. Just part of what makes this process easier is facilitating a sort of click up here. You can go to preferences, and I believe it's grids. All right, I think this is working now. So we're gonna be paying attention to two. All right, I believe this is working for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my camera and let you guys enjoy the show. I'm gonna start the video from the beginning. And hopefully everything is gonna work. All right. Yo, what's going on, you guys? This is Jose Ortiz, aka Designed by Ghost, Shot by Ghost, back at it again. Today, what I'm gonna be doing with you guys is going over some of the basics of, I'm gonna be doing a poster design with you guys. And it's gonna be part of my upcoming workshop for UMedia at Harvard Public Library, where I will be facilitating a poster design workshop as part of Graphic Design Fundamentals, aka Design Center. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started. I'm gonna play some music that I believe is streamer friendly by the Relaxed Movement. It's cool, you guys should check it out. Great stuff. I've been listening to it. Like to just have something in the background. What I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna be using Adobe InDesign to set up my poster. Start a new document. And we're just gonna make it, 8.5 by 11. Hit preview. 8.5 by 11 is also known as letter size. This is where you would adjust any of like the margins, things like that. We're not gonna be doing any of that right now. Just trying to get into it. Create. So when you're working, one of the things that can be the most challenging is looking at the blank page. This is like your worst, and it can be your best and worst enemy as a designer, as an artist. So part of what makes this process easier is facilitating a sort of structure that we can work through. So I'm going to show you guys basically ground zero for typography and page layout, and that's called the baseline. So in InDesign, we're going to click up here. We can go to preferences, and I believe it's grids. Yeah, grids. So we're going to be paying attention to two things: this number and this number. Really quickly, I'm just going to adjust the view threshold, which is the second number. I'm going to put it at 25. That basically allows me to see the baseline at zoom levels above 25% or below 25%. I think it's above 25%. So anyways, it's just going to make it visible on the screen. This number is the most important number. This number corresponds to your type leading. So leading is the space in between type, and you adjust that according to the type of font that you're using and really the size that you're using. 12-point leading, I don't know if it's standard or what, but it works for nice multiples, because when you go to use your fonts, typically everything works in multiples of 12. So you got 12, 24, 36 size font, 48, 60, 72. Those are common numbers. So we'll leave it at 12. And I'll show you how this works. As you get more familiar with leading, then you'll be able to adjust things, very neatly to accord to your type preferences. It's just important to know that leading, the space in between type, is like the fundamental, one of the measurements, the fundamental measurements that's going to make everything easier in laying out a type design on a page or wherever you are. So we're going to leave it at 12. We're just going to make this 25% relative to the top of the page. You can change the colors, blah, 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 blah. You can start it at 0, which basically means just start it basically at the top of the page and work down. I wouldn't worry about the document grid. If you can see, the top is the baseline grid, the bottom is the document grid. We're not going to use document grid, so we'll just leave that alone. Hit OK. And if we hit zoom, the reason why we're not seeing it is because you have to go to View, Grids and Guides, and we're going to go Show Baseline Grid. All right? So it's sort of like a standard notebook paper. Basically, these lines are the first element of structure, and they're basically telling you that the smallest amount of spacing between your letters should be 12 font. And that's something that I forgot to mention. The baseline, that increment, corresponds to the smallest amount of leading between type that you think that you're going to use. It doesn't matter if you use bigger type, because you just multiply that leading. So if the smallest amount of leading that I want to use is 6 point, we will go back, change it to 6 point. These lines will get smaller. And if I want to go increase my font size, I will also increase my leading size accordingly in multiples of the smallest number. So we're gonna show you how that works. I'm gonna make a basic poster. Let's make a poster basically facilitating some information for my poster workshop. So, and before we start laying out information, the other thing I want to do is establish columns. So we're going to go to Pages. We're going to go to your A master. Make sure you're on the master page. we're gonna go up to margins and columns, and we're gonna start with moving these columns up. So 3 columns is typical for a magazine. I'm gonna make 6 columns just to give me extra maneuverability. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna leave the leading. I'm gonna leave the gutter at about, yeah, at about 0.125 for now. That seems adequate. There's multiple ways of doing it. We'll just leave that alone for now. All right. Now we want to get off our master and we want to go to page 1. Select the type tool and zoom in a little bit. Oh, one last thing I want to do. Back to the master. I want to section this thing with rows, right? So what we did is we gave it a baseline. We gave it 6 columns. Now I want to give myself guidelines to how much information I want to chunk vertically, right, with rows. So we're gonna go to our master, we're gonna go to layout, we're gonna go to create guides, and we're gonna focus on the rows. And we're gonna make sure the guide fits to the margins. And you'll see those blue lines. I'll take off the gutter for now because I just want single lines. So that's about 5 sections of information. We could go and increase it to 10. That means that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, right? Six lines of 12 points in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's adequate enough. We'll hit OK. So what we just did right now is we took this blank page and we put a bunch of lines in it so that when you go to organize information, it's coalescing into a coherent design framework. Now it's time for the part that you guys are all waiting for. Let's actually start putting some type on here. The name of the workshop is called Design Center, so I'll just start with that. I'll make a big heading. I'll make it halfway from the page for now, and we'll make it 1 section tall. We'll choose our font. Usually you want to choose your font before you do the baseline grid, and you want to do some experiments to see what's the optimal leading for your font, because 12-point font might work really well for one font. A 12-point leading might work really well for one font, but it might not work for another font, and you might need like 11-point leading, 10, 10.5. So this is just streamlining the process, so don't worry about it too much. But I'm gonna maybe use GT Sectra for now. I've used the font a bunch of times. We're gonna make sure we go to our leading, and we're gonna make sure we're at 12. So you see that how the line now corresponds into that space. I'm gonna type in Design Center, and I'm gonna hit Shift W. This is how it looks on the page. Very small for a title of a workshop. So we're gonna increase the size. See how we increase it by another 12, and now it's 24 font. We look, Design Center. That looks pretty good. I want to see if we can go another 12, 36. Design Center. Okay, cool. I'm just starting out to move the information around according to the lines that we have set out already. Okay. The other thing is that Design Center is happening in quarter 1. So I just made a duplicate. Let me just see how that looks. Sometimes I like to see how things look. Q1. And that one is like a superscript one, so we'll make it. We'll have to make it like that. So we have design center Q1. Maybe some other helpful information would be when's it happening. And you know, we'll move all this stuff around. This is just about getting it out there. I believe it's going to be happening Monday and Tuesdays. And that's squishing together. That means that 12-point letting is way too small for that. So we'll just go to 24 font letting, point letting. A little bit too small, so we'll go to 36. That's going to take us out of the box. It's the letting works, but it's not fitting into our section. The other thing that I can do is just move these all up one baseline, and then it will. Okay. What are we doing in Design Center? Well, we're going to be doing poster design. So I'm just going to say that over here. Poster design. With the poster design, what things that we'll be doing is basically creating visual or communicating visual graphics. It's a long word. Creating graphics for digital and printed representation. We're back. All right, I had to take a little detour. Back to the playlist. Back to the design. I don't know what I was writing here, but let me just set the letting for this at creating graphics for digital and printed representation. 36. It's okay. I'm not very happy with it. Let's try 48-point letting. Seems a little better. If you guys look though, you see the baseline? See how the words are sitting on these lines pretty much perfectly? That's how you want this to work. This is showing you that your words are essentially doing what the baseline wants them to do, which is adhere to the baseline. Anyways, let's see. A little too tight. Let's go to 48 letting. All right, let's keep going. I don't know if I like these words. Creating graphics for digital and print representation.
So what I have here is I'm using a reference, basically a reference document with all my information that I think I want to include. Makes the information part of the design easier. So what I'm doing is I'm just playing with information and I'm trying to see where it goes. A lot of it's like information hierarchy. I'm just trying to see where to put things. That's pretty cool. All right. Just trying to find different ways of laying out this information. Not totally happy with how it is right now. I don't know what I'm like. My Zoom tool is looking like this. Alright guys, sometimes just a quick Google search to find out what's not working. So I'm kind of stumped on this. I mean, I don't really know what I like or what I don't like about it, so we'll go to this website, typographicposters.com. It's a nice little website to get some ideas on poster design. That's pretty cool. Alright, what if we do something like this? What I'll do is I'll make a second page. We'll keep everything in the middle. Change all the information to vertical. Alright, this is pretty cool. What I'm gonna do is probably move this information over here. And bring about Alright. This is pretty cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually try to take poster design and manipulate it in Photoshop. This was my previous design. And it was like a practice run. And I wanted to do something else, so yeah. Version 2. Shade. Then I'll export. Range, we're gonna do 2. Visible guides and grids, make sure this is clicked on. And we're good. So it exports with all the grids. This is gonna help us align our information in Photoshop. cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the words poster design, and I'm only going to keep them within this framework. And I think I want to use Akira for this. I think this will look really dope with Akira. Let's just see. We're just gonna do a practice and see what we can do with this. So I'm just gonna get Chrome, hide it for now, convert this to a smart object. Take a look at what we had. Interesting. Let's go to some blending options. Give it a bezel. Actually, before we do that, let me zoom in a little bit so I can see this better. Oh, that's pretty sick. Wow, that's dope. Alright, I mean that might just be it, to be honest. Just put like a bevel on. I just put like a bevel and emboss on it. I was working with Chrome type before and some other projects, so that's why you see some of these settings here. But basically, it's a pillow emboss, and contour is one of these stock ones here. It's the one that goes up and then slightly down. Right here, this is the one. We change it. As we change it, you see the letters change. Basically, the contour of the lettering changes. That's also pretty dope. So that was hard. A lot of these are good, man. You're just playing around. That one looks really, really chrome. That one is pretty tight too. Alright, honestly, I mean I really like that one. But I might just stay with this one just because it's darker and you can see everything. I don't really see myself needing to do much to this. Oh yeah, besides adding a smaller stroke. Could give it the stroke just to, give the letters some substance. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let me just make a copy because there's something else I might want to do with this, which is to see if I can add a filter on it. Some type of distortion, maybe a ripple. distortion, guys. Wow, too much. Yeah, I mean, even just the letters look really beautiful, I have to say. Let's make sure we select our layer. Distort. Spherize. What does that do? Oh, it turns it into a sphere. Obviously. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now what I want though. Distort, swirl. Filter, distort, swirl. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh wow. Remember, I want to keep it in between these two guidelines here, which is why I'm trying to resize it ever so slightly. That just about works. And we can do the thing where like you see it multiplied. Honestly, I feel like this effect is so played out. Like the multiple thing. But we can try it out. So what I'll do is I just want to align the distribution. So distribute vertically. So that basically, I guess, evens it out. And then we'll just center it horizontally. There we go. And this information will probably, the side information will probably move towards the outer edge. So we won't worry about any of that right now. What I'm gonna do is turn off pretty much everything else. And I'm just gonna save this, save it as, and this is just gonna be the image. So version 2 underscore image. Okay, we're gonna go file, export, quick export as PNG. Very versatile file type. Sort of like a JPEG, but better. It also allows you to export background information, which is always helpful in case you need to export a design with no background. JPEG kind of compresses everything. We're gonna hit save. Now I'm gonna go to InDesign. I'm gonna make that small change. So I'm gonna move this information back. So now the information, lines up with the outer edges. I'm also gonna make this small change and bring this down. So we have everything lining up pretty neatly. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import, I'm gonna place an image box over this entire thing. And I'm gonna hit file place. And we're gonna place the image that we just created. Version 2 image. There we go. That's pretty cool, actually. Let's just take a look at that. I mean, it's nice. It just pixelated a lot. I wonder if we could hit high quality. That still doesn't change anything. It's obviously not made for the size, but that's pretty cool. Just to see what that would look like if we, we couldn't make it high resolution and all that. If we just send that to the back. Now, all the information lines up. That's pretty cool. I could see something with that. I don't know if you guys can, but I can. Fitting. We're gonna hit fit content proportionally. Right, there we go. And if you look, the design pretty much matches up where we want it to, pretty much in those edges. Pretty nice. And there you have it. That's a flyer for you guys. It tells you what the workshop is. It's called Design Center. What quarter we're in. We're in quarter 1. When is it happening? Mondays and Tuesdays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And a nice little design to show you what it's all about. It's poster design. And basically stuff like this is what we're going to be getting into depth about. I'm hoping that you guys are excited about this as much as I am, because this is all what I'm about. I love typography, visual design, publication design, all that jazz. So we just made something really quickly. Lastly, let me just show you how to export this. We're gonna go to File, Export. We already have the other one called version 2. I'm gonna call that version 2 guides because it has the guides. But for now, I'm just gonna call this version 2_2. Save. We're gonna uncheck visible guides and grids and non-printing objects because obviously we don't want to see anything that won't be printed. We're gonna leave that on a range of 2. The preset is fine, high quality print. It's modified because of some of the changes that we did, that's all. But if we just hit high quality print, same thing, everything stays the same. The standard, all that technicality doesn't matter for right now, and for most things it won't. This really matters depending on where you're gonna send this to get printed, things like that. More on that later. Marks and bleeds, we're not gonna have any marks. Output, everything else is fine. No color conversion. I like to design with no colors anyways. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We're just gonna hit export. And see, it was very, very nice and clean. I'm happy with the resolution. Let's just view that full screen. And there you have it, folks. Look at that. She is gorgeous. There's one thing I want to do. There's one last thing. We're not gonna call it quits. We're gonna take this and we're gonna give it a texture. I just thought of that. It makes total sense. All right. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna open it back up in Photoshop. We're gonna open up. Oh yes, this one. Open. Crop to media box. Everything else is fine. Hit OK. Cool. Now what I'm gonna do really quickly is I'm gonna open up part 1, the one that I was working on. Nice, because I have this texture here. Not that. I have this texture here that I want to import on the other one. And actually, I'll just import the whole group because I like the way it's textured. We're gonna hit duplicate group, and we're gonna duplicate that into version 2_2. We're gonna hit OK. Like a freaking charm. Yeah, I mean, there it is. It's on there. I have a texture for these sorts of things because I love making posters and making things that look like posters. This is the poster texture. Definitely, it's dark and all that, so I put a level on it, which basically allowed me to adjust some of the contrast of it. Make sure the clip in there. Yeah, something sort of like that. It's cool. Cool with me. X that out. What we're gonna do really quickly is we're gonna go to first one and make that change that I said I was gonna make. So I'm gonna make version 2, actually version 2 underscore guides, so that I can save this as version 2, the original. And it's gonna be basically a Photoshop video. Save. Okay. Pretty much the same stuff. I mean, this is pretty much the same thing. Save video. Now we're gonna open this up after it's done saving here on the bottom. All right, cool. Now we're gonna open this up. Look at that. It's just that added flair that makes these things pop. And we're gonna be going over this in the workshop, by the way. So this is just a preview, just so you guys have an idea. Poster design. Come check us out. I'm gonna be streaming here on Twitch for you guys. Yeah, stay tuned. More updates. We're gonna make this thing happen. I hope you guys enjoyed this. My name is Jose. We're doing the peace signs again. That might be my thing, peace signs. Yeah, this is what it is. I hope you guys really enjoyed this as much as I did. You guys have a wonderful day, wonderful night, wherever you are in the world. I'm signing out. Later.